like you said, episode 38, credit card points and rewards is the topic. This technically is like a Money Matters episode. Me and Sam didn't even talk about that, but this is actually a Money Matters episode. So y'all getting y'all Money Matters at the beginning of the month. First, I think the first episode in September, right?
Yeah. Football starts tonight too, though. So we got to make sure we speed this thing up.
Hey, let's make it happen. So credit card points and rewards. Basically, I think the title speaks for itself. We're gonna be talking about different credit cards, the points and the rewards, kind of going over, I guess, what are the rewards, how to use them, redeem them, determine which one would be like beneficial for you, and then kind of outline some options and some recommendations, right? So with all that being said, capitalizing on credit, spending that makes sense. I'm gonna let Sid break down to y'all. What are credit card points and rewards?
Let's give a little bit of a real moment here, like a transparent moment, right? So for the longest, I never really even knew anything about points and rewards and how that even works, right? Until really in my adult years, right? Because like I've said, I didn't get my first credit card to maybe until I was like 25 or so, right? And so when I started working for Verizon, we had this officer that worked there named Ralph. I think that was his name. I think his name was Ralph.
Ralph. I know Ralph with the glasses.
Bro, Ralph would always be booking trips and planning all these vacations and stuff like that, like it was nothing. And I'm like, God, dog, bro, like what you be doing? Like, how you taking all these vacations? And so he started showing me his point system. And he said, yeah, so I got these many points on this card, and I can just use it for this, and then I can use this, and this how many points I get back, and this, that, and the other. Blew my mind, bro. Like, opened up the doors to a whole different way of thinking about credit cards. I'm like, bro, I didn't know you can do all that. He's like, yeah, so anytime you want to take a vacation, this amount of points equals this, and then you can use this towards this purchase. I'm like, okay. And then, when you and I started chopping it up, and you was kind of showing me some things about the rewards points and how you can utilize them, not paying for travels, airplane tickets, and all these other things. I'm like, okay. I say, yeah. So this is the game that a lot of people may not be too familiar with.
Yeah, a lot of people ain't privy to it. There's a stigma with credit cards, just in general.
What I'm saying? Right, exactly. And so,
and I want to touch on what you said though.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Real life moment. So, my introduction to, so I got my first credit card when I was 18. Luckily, it only had like a $500 spending limit because I ran through that thing quick, went to collections, all that. That's a different episode. But once I started paying attention to my credit and getting my credit back right,
max that one out first go around.
Right away. But once I started focusing on my credit and paying attention, I was using credit cards to like build my credit and all of that. Which if y'all listen to previous episodes, we talk about credit ratio and making sure your utilization is under, certain amounts and all that, right? Like using less than 20% of your available credit and all that. But anyway, I was using credit cards to build my credit, but not taking advantage of points, like the credit card points and rewards and all that. And at Verizon, Pete, actually a good friend, and actually like business partner of mine now, he used to break it down. He had Excel spreadsheets, all type of shit. And I'm like, look, man, I ain't got time to be like doing mathematical equations when I just want to buy something right quick. You know what I mean? I ain't got time to be doing, all that. So I brushed them off for the longest amount of time. And then eventually I sat down and listened to him, and it wasn't as complex as I thought it was. And then I got involved, and I've been doing it for the last, I don't even know, like it felt like 6 years, something like that. Yeah. Between 4 or 6 years, somewhere in there. But super beneficial. And y'all will see why.
Right. Exactly. So with spending that makes sense, it's basically spending your money in a way that you can benefit from the advantages that card gives you. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? So
Free
if you
money.
want
That's the
free
easiest.
free money, yeah,
It's free,
that's exactly
literally.
what it is. And so with understanding how your points and your rewards work, that allows you to take full advantage of the perks and of some of the things that a lot of these cards offer that you may not be aware of. So obviously, it's all about doing your due diligence. You know what I'm saying? Just like we do, we always try to do our homework. We're not financial advisors. We just go off of personal experiences, but certainly being in the know as far as what your cards provide is beneficial, right? So three things that you want to know as it relates to your credit cards, points and rewards programs. So like I just said, be aware of programs your card provider provides, your card provider offers, excuse me. Stay in good standing to prove credit worthiness. So obviously, if your credit ain't bad or if you're not in good standing with your card issuer, that can cause some hindrances of you taking full advantage of some of the things that they do have that's available to you. And then
I
go
want to
ahead.
touch on that before you move on.
Go ahead, bro.
So very important point when we talking about these credit cards. If you're not good with having a budget, or you know, if you carry balances on your credit cards, and you know you're not good at paying them off, then these are not for you.
Yeah.
Like, because what ends up happening is, yeah, you get all these perks and benefits and points, but at that point you're now paying for them because the APR on some of these better cards with all these perks and incentives have very high interest rates.
Right.
And um, to be honest, those people are who pays for the free stuff that the other people get the
Yeah.
benefit from. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So if you if you're not good with paying off your credit cards every month, then I wouldn't recommend these, because it's not free for you at that point. You're paying
Absolutely.
for it uh like over and over again, because you know, if you keep carrying the balance. But I just wanted to point that out.
Yep. Good point out. And then last one, use loyalty to leverage unique offers. So obviously, you know, when you're with someone for so long, you get exclusive deals, right? So not only does that help in the aspect of being leveraged in that way, but as far as your credit cards, you know, with having that long-term history, that also kind of goes both ways. It's a win-win for you in that type of situation. So really understanding how those things work. The next slide we're about to go in is going to kind of give you a breakdown. But yeah, spend on what makes sense. You know, whatever your day-to-day lifestyle is, whatever you spend your money on, look at the cards that you currently have, see what programs and what rewards they have to offer for spending on certain things that you already do on a normal basis, and get the benefits of it.
Definitely. All right, cool. So next slide, pairing yourself. So this is like a points and rewards breakdown. Think of the first intro that said did was like an introduction to what are credit card points and rewards, right? And then in this segment, I'm gonna talk about like how do you use those points and rewards. All right, so first and foremost, if done properly, all of this stuff is free, right? Um, like there's levels of cards. Let's start
Mhm.
there. You have like beginner type credit cards, and then you have like more premium type credit cards. The two most popular premium credit cards are like the American Express Platinum, which a lot of people are familiar with that card, and then the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Those are the two most popular like premium cards. Now, there's other cards on top of those, like the Black Card and all that type of stuff. But like, unless you're wealthy, crazy wealthy, you don't have access to those type of cards. So we're gonna talk about what most people have access to if they got really good credit.
What's
All
actually
right.
accessible?
Yeah, what's accessible, right? So, with that being said, more premium type credit cards have annual fees, right? And they not cheap, right? Like the Chase Sapphire Reserve annual fee is like $500, I think, or 550, and then the Chase Sapphire or the American Express Platinums annual fee is $695, which you could say $700. Right away, that turns most people off. Why am I paying to have a credit card? Because they don't understand how the points and rewards And that fee that you paying is giving you access to all these perks that pay for that pay for
Right.
that. All right. Now the lower end cards don't offer nowhere near as many perks and benefits, but they don't have um, any annual
Annual
fees.
fees.
They're, you don't have to pay a fee to use the cards. So that's really kind of the range. You got beginner cards, typically don't have as high of balances, or not balances, but credit. What's the word I'm looking for? Limits, don't have as high of credit limits, whereas the premium cards have much higher credit limits. And so now, with all that being said, how do you utilize these points and rewards? So
Said it.
um, you basically spend how you normally spend, but you always use your credit card. So like, let's give an example. One of the credit cards that I have is the Chase Freedom Unlimited. That card gives me 1.5 points back on any purchase. Doesn't matter what it is. So the minimum amount of points I get for any purchase is 1.5, right? So if what's an example, right? Like if I just go to the convenience store and buy something that's not gas, none of the credit cards really cover like a convenience store, you know what I mean, of that I have. So I'm gonna use my Chase Freedom Unlimited because I'm gonna get 1.5 back. Versus if I use any other card, they're just gonna give you 1 point for $1, which is still good to be getting points, but you want to maximize the points,
Right.
right? So now I got another card that gives me 3 times points back on gas. So whenever I pump gas, I use that card because I'm gonna get 3 times points instead of 1.5 or just one, right? I got a card for when I buy airline tickets, I get 3 points back, 3 times points back, and on hotels, rental cars, all of those different things. So these are like things that you're already doing, right? There's a card that I use to pay my internet bill and cable bill, and they give me 3 times points back, right? So these are purchases that you're already making, and you're probably either doing direct debit from your checking account, or you're probably paying with like your debit card, right? Or you might be paying with a credit card just because that's how you got it set up to
Right.
have utilization, but you're not fully maximizing the points, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the way most credit card point systems work is each point is worth 1 penny, right? So if you see a credit card offer that says $100,000 sign up bonus, where you got to spend, $2,000 in the first 6 months, you get 100,000 points. Most credit card offers, that's going to be $1,000, right? What you do is you take a penny times 100,000 points, and that gets you to $1,000. Now, certain credit cards offer incentives for certain purchases where they'll give you more. Like for instance, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, if you purchase airline tickets, hotels, rental cars through their portal, they give you an extra 50% for the points. So that $1,000 now worth $1,500, right? All right. So using your points, say I got 100,000 points through my Chase Sapphire, and I want to book a flight, right? As I mentioned, each point is worth 1 cent. But if I'm using their portal to book, which is what I do, because they have all the damn flights and airlines on there, right? I think Expedia or somebody, there's a third party that like runs their thing for them where you have
Mm-hmm.
access to like all the flights. But anyway, if I use their portal, it's worth $1,500, right? Most round trip airline mile tickets are 25,000 points, right? That's typically like normal. Sometimes they're way more than that. Sometimes you find them way cheaper than that. But that's like the gauge that I use, 25,000 for a round trip ticket. So that means a one way would be like 12,500, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you factor that and run those numbers, right, that's what is that? 25,000 at that's $250 of points if you look at the value, right? That's $250 worth of points, which is actually cheaper than most round trip tickets
Ticket cost, yeah.
whenever you actually buy with your own cash. But anyway, you use your points like that to buy flights, hotels, and rental cars. Other things that you can have to utilize your points and rewards is the premium cards give you access to airport lounges. Like one of the American Express Platinum gives you access to the Centurium Lounge, which is like the creme de la creme airport lounges. They have like, you know, very high end, nice restaurants, you know, good food, all those types of things. And other ones give you like restaurant vouchers and access to different airport lounges. Like for instance, if you got like a Delta credit card, you may get, you know, free passes to the Delta Lounge every year. They give you a couple passes, or same with United, or you know, whatever the case may be. Other rewards that they offer is like paying for your Clear, or your TSA pre-check or global entry. Most of y'all should know what Clear is. TSA pre-check, know what that is, and then global entry is like TSA pre-check, but for international.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also give you upgraded status at hotels and rental car companies. Like the American Express Platinum card gives you automatic gold status at like the at Marriott properties, or they give you you know, elevated status at all of the rental car companies, so you get free upgrades and, you know, things like that. And then they also give you things like credits monthly for Uber and DoorDash, and give you, they pay for like your membership to the to those services. So tons and tons and tons of rewards. And if I really sat here and tried to go through all of them, it would be a very long episode. But the
Right.
point of this segment is to really just give a breakdown of how you utilize the points and rewards. And there's an important distinction, right, between those two, points and rewards, right? Certain credit cards have built-in rewards. The American Express Platinum card is known for having really good rewards, where they give you $240 digital entertainment credit every year, $200 hotel credit every year, 155 Walmart Plus credit every year, 200 airline fee every year. You don't have to spend anything to utilize those
The
rewards.
rewards, yeah.
Just like the updated hotel status and rental car status, you don't have to spend anything to get that. You automatically get it. You just have to make sure that when you book those hotels or those rental cars, that you use their portal and your card, right? Now, points, on the other hand, you get by spending, either by meeting the minimum requirement for the bonus offer, or just the spending like I broke down earlier with the various purchases that, you know, align your purchases with the card that gives you the most points, right? Now, these things are things you already spend money on, and that's the main point that I want to like push real hard. You're not, you know, buying random things to be able to benefit from these. These are
Right.
purchases that you're already making, that you're just maximizing and getting these points for. Like in the last somewhere between 4 and 6 years, I don't know exactly, these years be flying by, the only time I've actually paid for a flight, a hotel, or a rental car is because the price was so cheap that if I would have used my points, it would have been like a waste of my points, right? So that's the only time that I've actually paid for a flight, a hotel, or a rental car in the last, you know, several years. All my other travel has been paid for with my credit card points. Flying for free, traveling for free, free
Yeah.
vacations. You know, I just went to Minneapolis with my family. They're still there. Those was all paid for with points, you know, free trip. Um, but yeah, tons of points, tons of rewards, had to break down. And then we're going to move on to the next segment, which is best options, right? Um, said, how
One
you
and
want to,
two.
you said
I
what?
take I take the first one. You take the last two.
All right, cool. That worked.
Bet. All right. So best options. There's a card for that. So as we've been saying this whole time, so for everything that you do on a day-to-day basis, with how you spend, the places you go, entertainment, eating, travel, all those things. There's a card that supports that. Now, obviously, there's a familiarity with like Chase and American Express, because you've heard us, say those. Well, her and Eric say those two particular cards. But there's all sorts of cards
So
that you can leverage and that you can use for everything that you do. You know, there's cards for people who have beginner credit. There's cards for people who have established credit. You know, there's cards for people who are business owners. All those things. So as I just said, there's a card for that. So anything that you can think of, there's some card with some issuer that
yeah,
provides you with
and
everything
to
you need.
piggyback on that, I for sure have a bias towards Chase and their points, their system, um, and somewhat American Express too. Um, our recommendations on cards are strictly um, opinion based, right? Now the facts are the two top premium credit cards that most people, and you can go Google this, it's the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the American Express Platinum. And that's because those two um, credit cards and their systems, Chase is a bank, American Express isn't, but I don't know what you, credit card companies, right? They have the best systems, right? And they have been challenging each other to make the other ones better. So the recommendations that that we make here are gonna be Chase and American Express. But as said mentioned, there's tons of credit cards out there, and the information that we're providing, you just do your due diligence, and you can find ones that work for you. And I even urge y'all to go check, like, what are the best credit cards? And you're gonna see Chase and American Express. That's what's gonna pop up. You know what I mean? But do your due diligence, because I know quite a few people who have Capital One cards, and they're happy with them, and they got like some good bonus offers, like we're not on bonus offers, but point system and stuff, you know. So, but yeah, I'll give it back to Sid.
For sure. So first one, cars that are best for travel. So some things that you want to look into are cars that offer flexibility and are not limited to specific locations. So I know, Eric, you and I had that conversation yesterday as far as with using a card like with Delta Airlines, but opposed to using your card that you have with Chase. You know, you broke down some of the benefits as far as using that particular card opposed to the one with Delta. Now I forgot everything that you told me that day or last night. So I'm gonna let you say what you told me.
Well,
That way they
yeah.
can know what you said.
So I have the Delta card and the United card, but I recommend for people not to get um, airline credit cards or hotel credit cards. And what I mean by airline or hotel is like how you can get the Delta, American Express Gold card or Platinum or whatever. You can get like the United Preferred card or whatever. And the reason I recommend, or like the Hilton for like hotels, the reason I recommend against those cards is because you're locked into the benefits with that particular airline or that particular hotel, or whatever the case may be. Whereas like Chase, American Express, and some of the other ones that aren't tied to a specific airline or hotel, they offer very similar benefits that you can use across all those hotels, all those airlines, right? So for instance, say I had 100,000 points on my United card, right? I can only use those points with United. And say United doesn't have the best flight for me. Say they're the most expensive, or they don't have the time I want, but Delta does. Well, guess what? You SOL, right? Because all of your points are with United on your United card. Now, if you had the American Express Platinum or the Chase Sapphire Reserve, or just one of the Chase or American Express cards, them 100,000 points can be used in their portal, and all of the airlines are available there. You got Chase, you got Delta, you got American Airlines, you got Spirit, you got, which I ain't never flying Spirit, but you got all the other airlines, United, all those airlines, right? So you can book. So that's why I recommend against those airline cars or those specific hotel cars, because you don't want to limit yourself. Now, we had this conversation. If there's rare situations where one may work for you, right? Like, say for instance, you only fly Delta because that's your preferred airline and that's just who you like, and they got a hub where you live, which is the case in Minneapolis for a lot of people. Then okay, cool. The Delta card may make sense. But again, you're still limiting yourself. So if you travel, if there's an off chance you're traveling somewhere and they don't got the cheapest flight or the best flight options, then you're missing out for sure. And the same goes for like the hotel cars. If you travel and you only stay at the Hilton, then yeah, the Hilton card may work for you. But again, I still make the argument that those other cards are better for you. So
Right.
that's the point there about going with cards that offer flexibility as opposed to locked
Locked
into
into a
one
specific one.
airline or one hotel chain or whatever.
There it is. That explained it all.
Yeah.
You take the last two. There you go.
Yeah, right. And then the two cars that we have here as examples of really good ones for travel is the Chase Sapphire Reserve and American Express Platinum. Again, opinions, recommendations. If you Google best travel cars, those two are going to definitely come up at the top of your list. So best for business owners, right? You want to look for cars that offer incentives on your daily business activities. So there's business cards out there that offer 3 times points back on gas, that pays for your phone bill. Well, not don't pays for your phone bill, but give you 3 times back on your phone bill, or give you 3 times back on marketing, right? So if you're paying for like Google ads or Facebook ads or whatever the case may be,
And that's big.
there's
That's gonna get expensive.
oh, exactly, extremely expensive, especially
Yeah.
depending on the size of the business. You know what I mean? Because some businesses could be paying hundreds of $1,000s a month in advertising. You know what I mean? But even a small business, if you're spending $200-$300 a month, you know what I mean? 300, times 3, 900. You know what I mean? You get 900 points a month just off of advertising. You know what I mean? But yeah. So two good recommendations for business card again in the Chase family. Chase Inc. Business, there's multiple Chase Inc. Business cards, and then American Express Business, which there's multiple American Express Business cards. But do your diligence, your research. And then the best for everyday use. You want cards that offer points and categories that reflect your lifestyle. With that being said, you just want to find something, like I said about the unlimited card, that gives you a minimum of like 1.5 back on any purchase regardless. You don't just want to get 1 point. You want to get multiple points per purchase. That's how you rack up the points faster and build the points. So examples of that would be like the Chase Freedom Flex or like the Chase Freedom Unlimited. A card like the Chase Freedom Flex has locked in benefits, like 3 times on restaurants, 3 times on travel, things like that. But then they also offer rotating categories every quarter where you get 5 times points, right? So there's like sometimes it'll be the grocery store, right, where you get 5 times points for the quarter. It'll be Netflix or Hulu. It'll be PayPal purchases. It'll be whatever. They rotate every quarter. And those are great, right? Because depending on what's going on, align your purchases with that to rebuild credit. We could talk about that a little bit, bro. We really mainly talking about like credit points and rewards, but I could touch on that really quick for sure. I'm gonna wrap this up and I can touch on that right quick. So best everyday card, the Freedom Flex and the Freedom Unlimited. But like I said, you want to just find something that's rewarding you and giving you multiple points per dollar you spend as opposed to just one, right? And no matter your day-to-day spending, there's a card for it. Get more in return by making use of provider benefits that offer you value. So cool. To touch on rebuilding credit, right? The best way to rebuild credit, so there's 2 types of bad credit or not good credit. The one that has things in collections, right? And they got to get those paid off, which is having a negative impact. And then the other type is a person who just has never utilized their credit, right? So like if you've never like built your credit or never had a credit card, your score is just kind of sitting in limbo and it's going to be lower because you never did nothing to build it. So low credit, no credit and bad credit is really damn near the same thing. And the way you get out of them is different. So for somebody that just has low credit and not necessarily bad credit or anything collections, just go apply for a credit card, use it monthly, make sure that by your statement date, you're using less than 20% of your account balance, pay it off every month, period. That'll build your credit very fast. If you have things in collections, right, that's where it gets a little more tricky on the process. Some things falls off and I always forget this, it's either 5 or 7 years. So depending on where you are with the items and collections, don't try to pay them off. If you're 5 years into it, just wait them a couple extra years for that shit to fall off, and then you know you'll get another opportunity at credit. And if you can't get approved for a credit card because your credit is lower, then you want to set up what's called a secured credit card. So you got unsecured credit cards and secured credit cards. The unsecured credit card is where you apply for the credit, you get approved, they give you a card, they give you a spending limit, right? So you apply, you get $1,000 spending limit. What a secured card is you put the money up for it, right? So you put up the $700, let's say, for the card, but then they treat that like a credit card and they report to the bureaus like they would with an unsecured credit card, right? So that's like really the best way is get a secure credit card. Make sure you follow that same strategy of using less than 20% of your available balance, paying it off every month. And after about a year of doing that, that secure credit card, they'll refund you your money and then make it an unsecured credit card. And then they'll increase the balance, right? And that's literally exactly what I did when my credit was bad, which we talked about earlier. When I was 18, got my first credit card, ran through that boy, went to collections. That's what I ended up doing. I got a secure credit card, stuck to that, less than 20% utilization rule, paid it off every month. And in a year, they gave me I think it was $500 back, and then they gave me $1,000 credit limit. That same card that I have now, over the years, I got like a $20,000 credit limit on that card now. That I started off as a secured credit card, right?
Yeah.
No problem, bro. That's really the point of these episodes. You know what I mean? And it's on topic, not necessarily we talking about, but it's on topic. You know what I mean? But no, happy I can answer the question, bro. But we really at the end, right? You got anything you want to add, Seth?
Nah, man. Like we said, just get more return for making good use of your points and rewards, right? So, like I said in the beginning, I had no awareness of points and rewards and how it even worked, right? And so now that I'm obviously older and more experienced with using credit and how points and reward systems work, it's always useful to go in, look at some of the perks, look at the card that you're possibly interested in, see if it reflects your lifestyle, see if it offers the benefits that you may need as far as how you spend on a day-to-day basis. Look at the annual fees, make certain that it's in your budget and something that you can afford from a month-to-month basis. That way you can make certain that you're paying your credit card off every month. So you're not paying for the rewards and the rewards and the points that you're getting, but that you can use it as free money, which is what it's meant for, right? And so taking advantage of that, and really paying yourself back for the things that you do on a day-to-day basis.
It's free money, man. I don't know who don't like free money. You know what I'm saying? Get rewarded for things that you're already spending money on. You know what I mean? Super simple, travel for free, like credit card hacks. You know what I'm saying? And it don't need to be that complicated. You gotta, if once you start building out a credit card portfolio, right? Because like Chase has several different cards, American Express has several different cards. So like for instance, me with Chase, I have 5 different Chase cards, and some of them offer similar benefits, but they all have their own unique benefits. 3 of them is what I use, majority of the time, and the other 2, depending on what I'm spending on. But I stay carrying about 100 and some thousand points. You know what I'm saying? And I travel quite frequently. It allows me to travel quite frequently and for free. You know what I mean? And I got a family, a wife and 2 sons. My youngest, I don't got to buy airline tickets for him right now because he's not 2 yet. But when he does, it's gonna come in handy and gonna run through my points a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's in summary, very beneficial, free money. Highly recommend that y'all take advantage. And if y'all got any questions, feel free to reach out. Like the question about the building credit, bro. If you want to hit me offline, we could talk about it. I can help you. But yeah, hey, as always, we appreciate y'all for tuning in.
All day, every day.
Hopefully y'all find these episodes impactful and beneficial, right? We take our time with the content. We do our due diligence. We're not just going to provide y'all with some BS information that we don't truly believe in ourselves. And in situations like this, we're speaking from experience. Like, I use these cards every day. You know what I'm saying? Literally, like, all of my spending is through credit cards. I don't use my debit card. It had been so long, when I went to the bank one time, I couldn't even remember what my damn PIN was. Like, I had to like reset it because I don't use debit card. I only use credit cards, and I barely have cash because I need all my points. You know what I'm saying? It's even situations where I go out to dinner with people, and I'll just pay the tab and tell them to give me the money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because benefit from the points. You know. But as always, we appreciate y'all. Like I said, anybody who comes back and watches the video after the fact, we appreciate y'all as well. Those numbers always go up, so we know y'all do that. And we got a lot of stuff coming, man. We already said we got the merch coming. You know what I mean? It's gonna be some dope merch coming. Real high quality, top of the line stuff. And we got some other surprises in store too. And as always, check the link in the bio. You can go check all of our kits, where, you know, it outlines what we're talking about, the recommendations, all that good stuff. And then you can watch all of our previous lives on the Instagram page.
Then one more quick thing too, man. If you all know, not know, but if you all have any content that y'all want to see more of, anything that y'all want us to talk about, please feel free, hit us up on in our DMs. We'll love to create content surrounding that particular topic, and share that information with everybody. So hit us up, _@_ keep it thorough, or you can hit me up directly at Cedric Lavelle, or hit up Eric at who is Eric Evans. And yeah, let's talk, man. Like I said, we'll definitely love to create some content surrounding any topic that you all may have. It really doesn't matter what it is, because this live is more specifically for just typical conversations, you know, and how we can provide value surrounding those ideas, and create concepts that'll definitely be impactful. So yeah.
Yeah, just a bunch of information sharing, man. We like to share the information. It's beneficial for everybody, right? And we might even, you know, the point that he brought up about building credit, that might be a potential episode. Like, we've done ones on credit, but I don't think we've actually did anything specifically on building credit. So that might actually be a good episode for us to do in the future. But hey, we appreciate y'all. Can't say it enough. And if you don't do nothing else,
Yeah.
keep it thorough.
Keep it thorough.
And we'll holler at y'all next time.
Till
Deuces.
next time.